Hey there, good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, we're here on Thursday night to do an episode of Outliers. So, I have two shows that I do on Thursday night. One is called Hidden Gems, which I do every second week, and then Outliers is the other one. So, basically, what Outliers is that it's an album that really is a little bit outside of what the band is normally done. In some cases, it may be way outside of what the band normally does. This album is kind of a little bit outside of what they've done. It does have a little bit of that sound that they normally have, but then this band has a lot of albums that are kind of on the cusp of a certain era. They're not really um, dominated by one particular sound, although there is a sound for the band. So the album we're going to talk about tonight is this album, Drama from Yes. So up till this point, John Anderson had been the only vocalist in the band. So there's a couple of things that were different about this album, but there were some things that Yes were kind of known for. The forward sound of the bass guitar, for instance, in almost a lot of their albums. So Chris Squire, a dominant part of that. Very, I would say, keyboard dominated at times as well as guitar, and the guitar had a kind of different sound to it. But it was prevalent on almost all of their albums, whether it was electric or acoustic. And then you had also John Anderson's voice, which was John Anderson's voice is the same from day one till now. It hasn't changed. So absolutely, those are the main characteristics. And then you have these long, progressive instrumentations and concepts going on throughout their discography, really. And they varied pretty much from kind of rock, a little bit on the rock side, all the way through the progressive rock to even some kind of jazz and jazz fusion at times. So I could have picked Relayer. That had occurred to me. It was a little bit outside of the main thing, but I chose Drama for a reason. So on Drama, you still have that bass element, maybe a little bit more forward than normal. You don't have John Anderson's voice anymore. You have Trevor Horn, not Raven. Trevor Horn doing the vocals here, and maybe not as forward as you would normally get with John Anderson, but still really good. And then, of course, you have Steve Howe. So that's to me the biggest difference on here. Yes, you do have some keyboards that are a little bit more toned down as far as being dominated from Wakeman or Moraz. Those are the main guys who played with the band before, but and even Tony Kaye. But here you've got this more kind of almost spacey sound to the keyboards throughout this album, which is they're really good, but they're different than what you're used to with Yes. But the biggest difference on this album is Steve Howe's guitar play. On every other album I've heard Steve Howe play on, he has a certain kind of laid back, kind of acoustic sounding, um, not over the top, heavy type of guitar. On this album, completely different. On this album, he's over the top, heavy, really scorching type of heavy guitar, unlike anything I've heard him do before or after. Just really dominating guitar, his lead parts. He uses slide guitar, but also this absolute screeching tone of his guitar on this album. I think it's what makes this album strong, but it's very different than what came before. So today's Outlier, um, Drama from Yes. I do like the songs on this. I like every song on this album, but it's very different than it has a different sound and tone to the album than any of the Yes albums that came before it. And so I decided, you know what, even though Relayer is kind of outside the realm a bit, this one I think is more outside the realm. So I chose it for today. And so today's album, Drama from Yes. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Outliers. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated if you want to put any comments about what I've said or about the album in general or about Yes or Steve Howe, or whatever you want to talk about related to the video, put those in the comments section below, and I'll try to answer as I always try to. And we will see you all next week for an episode of Hidden Gems Thursday night. Take care and have yourself a good one. Goodbye.